So today, let's step inside the digital command center, the place that protects pretty much everything, businesses, governments, even your personal data, from all sorts of online threats. We're talking about the Security Operations Center, or SOC, and we're going to break down exactly who these people are on the front lines of our digital defense. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I have a question for you. What do you think actually happens in the first 60 seconds of a major cyber attack? I mean, it's got to be chaos, right? It's incredibly high stakes, and it's exactly where our story begins. Because the response in that first minute isn't random. It's a perfectly coordinated effort by a very specific team. And that team is the Security Operations Center, the SOC. Probably the best way to think about a SOC is like a hospital's emergency room, but for digital threats. It's this dedicated unit of really skilled people who are on call 24/7, just waiting, ready to defend against any and all cyber threats that come their way. So, who are these digital first responders? Well, let's meet the very first person who's going to see a potential attack unfold. This is the Level 1 analyst, or L1 for short. And just like a triage nurse in an ER, their entire job is to be that initial gatekeeper. They are constantly watching this just sea of blinking lights and data streams, looking for that one single signal that means trouble's brewing. And you have to understand, the sheer volume of alerts they're dealing with is just staggering. They're monitoring thousands of them around the clock, which leads to this huge challenge called alert fatigue. So really, their most critical skill is prioritization. They have to decide almost instantly what's just digital noise and what's a real emergency that needs to get escalated right away. So when you boil it all down, their whole workflow is this simple but absolutely vital process. An alert pops up, the L1 analyst quickly figures out how serious it is, and if it's the real deal, they immediately pass it up the chain. They are the essential filter that lets the real specialists focus on the most dangerous threats. And that, of course, brings us to the next stage. Once an incident is actually confirmed and escalated, a brand new player steps in to take control of the whole situation. Let's meet the Level 2 or L2 analyst. So if the L1 was our triage nurse, the L2 is the ER doctor who actually takes the case. These are the primary incident responders, the ones who jump straight into the fire to diagnose and treat the problem. Now, their job is to dive deep. They take those incidents from Level 1 and they figure out, okay, what exactly is happening here? How widespread is the damage? And most importantly, how do we stop it right now? They're very hands-on, working to contain the threat and mitigate the damage, all while they carefully document every single thing for later analysis. And this really gets to the heart of the difference between our L2 analysts and the next tier we're about to meet. Level 2 is fundamentally reactive. They are experts at putting out a known active fire. But what about the threats you don't even know are there yet? Well, that's where the most elite tier of the SOC comes in. See, these folks don't wait for the alarm to sound. They go looking for trouble. This is the Level 3, or L3 analyst. Think of them as the SOC's special forces, or its forensic intelligence unit. These are the threat hunters. They operate with this mindset of, professional paranoia, proactively searching the network for even the faintest signs of a sophisticated attacker that might have slipped past all the initial defenses. Their skill set is just incredibly advanced. They don't just respond to alerts. In a way, they create them. They'll literally take malware apart, piece by piece, to understand how it works. They fine-tune all the organization's security tools to make them smarter. And they provide expert backup when a Level 2 investigation gets really complex. They make the whole system stronger. Okay, so we've got our analysts on the ground, boots on the ground, but who's coordinating this entire high-stakes operation? I mean, who makes sure the team, the tools, and all the processes are actually working together like a well-oiled machine? Well, that would be the SOC manager. If the analysts are the doctors and the specialists, the manager is kind of like the hospital administrator and the chief of staff all rolled into one. They are the leader and the strategist who oversees the entire operation from above. The SOC manager isn't just managing people. They're managing the entire defense strategy. They're the ones who set the rules of engagement. They're the ones who have to talk to company leadership during a crisis. And they are always focused on making the SOC better, faster, and smarter. So we've met all the individual players on the team. Let's zoom out for a second and see how they all come together to form this complete and really impressive defensive system. And here it is. This is the whole picture. It's not just one person. It's not one tool. It's a truly multi-layered defense. You've got the L1 analysts acting as this huge, wide net. Then you have the L2 responders containing the active threats, the L3 hunters finding those hidden dangers, and of course the manager guiding the entire strategy. Every single layer supports all the others. Because at the end of the day, effective cybersecurity is a team sport. It absolutely requires this kind of deep, coordinated effort with different skills and different responsibilities at every level, all working in perfect sync to protect critical information. Which leaves us with one last thought. We've seen the incredible team that protects large organizations. But who, or maybe what, is acting as the level 1, level 2, and level 3 analyst for your own personal data? It's definitely a question worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me.